Jack is a great guy. He's written a fantastic book. Everybody's talking about it. Go get it. And he's been my friend right from the beginning of this whole beautiful event. And we're going to turn it around and make our country great again. Amen.
Jack Posobiec back live, Human Events Daily, Charlie Kirk studio. We're here with Tucker Carlson. We have breaking news. And this is, I believe, some kind of filing. And so Tucker, I'd love to get your first take on this, because we're literally just talking about it, that the attempted assassin of Justice Brett Kavanaugh, which is one that nobody talks about anymore. Yep. I believe this is the one. He was outside the house. He had zip ties. He had a firearm. He was wanting to go in. And by the way, multiple zip ties, because Brett Kavanaugh was there with his wife and children,
yep,
and standing outside his house. Then something comes over him. He called, if I remember correctly, he called 911 on himself and said, "Come pick me up before I do something that I shouldn't do,"
yes,
which is very tied into what we're talking about.
Of course. People are captive, actually.
He has just come out as trans.
Yep.
And Nicholas Roske has filed a name change to Sofia Roske.
Yep, of course.
And I'm not sure, I believe it's Maryland, so I'm not sure exactly what level of facility he is in. He is being represented by a federal public defender for the District of Maryland, and has petitioned not only for the name change, but I imagine will be petitioning for a sex change. Tucker, why does this keep happening?
Well, I mean, when I was a child growing up in Southern California, a totally secular world that worshipped Sigmund Freud and, Jonas Salk and
those guys never got anything wrong.
Yeah, the heroes of my youth.
Of course.
The idea was that every civilization in history has been super uptight about sex for irrational reasons, probably because they were badly toilet trained, and that's all insane, and there's nothing bad about sex, and there couldn't possibly be a vector for sin, and what? And I completely believe that, actually, because that's the world I was raised in. I didn't know anyone who didn't think that, and my life has been a process of realizing that that's totally wrong. It's not just the trans stuff, by the way. It's all sexual sin. Sex is a direct express route to your soul. I mean, that's the joy of sex, is you expose your deepest parts to another person.
Well, in fact, all the 7 deadly sins are desires that we have that are directly tied to our soul.
Exactly.
And then when those desires are overindulged, and I don't just mean gluttony, but all of them.
Or they go in the wrong direction.
So there's there's love, agape, sexual love,
yep,
within the bounds of marriage to create the family. But if that gets overindulged, it becomes lust.
Well, yeah, and there was a reason people were really afraid of sex. Of course, everyone loves sex. Who doesn't love sex? But they understood that it was like nitroglycerin, it could cure heart patients, but it could also blow up the building.
Right.
It's a volatile thing, and you have to keep it within certain bounds.
And the chemotherapy, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And, the trans thing is obviously evil. Of course, it destroys the people who engage in it. By the way, we're not just the victims. The real victims are the trans people, of course, because evil flows through people and it destroys them as it does. No one gets out of that alive. But it's not just the trans stuff. That's just the kind of final, it's come to fruition. But it's all the sexual sin destroys people, and it destroys your society. And that's why no society has ever had the view that was common in La Jolla, California in 1980, which is, hey, man, none of it's a big deal. It is a very big deal. It's the biggest deal. Paul talks about this quite a bit, not because he was sexually repressed Pharisee or something, because it's true, and everyone's always recognized it's true. So we need a radical rethinking of how we treat sex. And it doesn't mean judging people. It doesn't mean hurting people. It doesn't mean putting people in prison or anything like that. It just means telling the truth about what sex is, which is the root of procreation, the place where life begins, literally. And so it's the most powerful, important thing. Marriages without it die, of course. So it's a good thing, but it can destroy not just people, but a civilization. And that has happened to ours. There's no doubt in my mind at all.
You look at the 1960s, the counterculture, right? This was the first thing. You get rid of God and you massively expand sex.
Of course. And you also see it at the heart of every violent cult, for example.
Of course.
I mean, the Manson family was all about, dropping acid and having orgies. The Jonestown cult had sexual weirdness, including bisexuality at the core of it. That's just a fact. And
Jonestown also had a lot of critical race theory that people.
It had a lot of bad things, but I'm just saying that sexual perversion accelerates everything because it gets right to the core of people. It's not an intellectual exercise.
It messes with your hormones. It can mess with your brain chemistry. You send your signals.
They're all the physical manifestations. AIDS.
My co-author Joshua Lysek, he had this great, so he's a trained hypnotist as well, and he talked about hypnosis and trance-like states, and he was talking about pornography, and he said, what do people do when they're watching pornography? They put themselves into a trance-like state.
Of course.
In order to
I don't understand why conservatives who haven't really done a lot, no offense, to make America better, why not just treat like the people who run OnlyFans and the porn sites as like enemies, because they are. Why not just say that? Like, why is that so hard? If you can't even do that, if you can't say like turning like a huge number of young American women into prostitutes is bad and call out the people who are getting rich from it, then what are you doing here exactly? And they're totally incapable of doing that. And I don't know why. I don't want to attack anybody, but like, that's table stakes. Are you kidding?
And like, we're supposed to actually be conservative, right?
Well, if you can't say the people who run OnlyFans are bad and they're getting rich on slavery, sex slavery, which basically it is.
Yes.
Then what do you, I don't know, go do something else. But like, don't be in the commentary business. Don't tell me you're conservative. If you can't say porn isn't like a locus of evil, way more dangerous than Iran. Which is more dangerous to America, porn or Iran? It's not even a close call. Stop with your bullshit. I don't want to hear any more of that. Like, I don't get anyway, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm obviously mad at a bunch of trends that are not being addressed adequately. But what I'm really saying is,
no, but you're right, because we
can
see this direct line between these types of top of funnel elements in our society, and that are, by the way, supported and allowed and celebrated in many cases. Oh, I did 500. Oh, I did 1,000 in one day. I'm going to break your record. And like the media is like playing into it.
Well, right.
Like
but it goes to a larger thing, which is like blaming other people. I mean, and I would even say this, I'm often attacked for like, focusing on Israel or whatever. Obviously, we can't be controlled by a foreign government. That's terrible. On the other hand, our problems are not Israel's fault. They're not Iran's fault. They're not Russia's fault. They're not China's fault. They're our fault, actually.
They're our fault.
And that is the truth.
Yes.
And if you are constantly blaming other people, I wouldn't put up with that in my kids. If I say, hey, why'd you do this? Well, because so-and-so made me. Oh, stop. That's not allowed in my house. We don't allow that.
And that's what Charlie was all about.
Yes.
Charlie was all about
and
that.
So, like, if you live in a world where people in your high school class are on OnlyFans, I'm not attacking those poor people who feel they have to do that or have been misled into doing it. But the people profiting from it are more dangerous and evil than Iran. And they're certainly more of an imminent threat to your country. Are you joking? It's not even close. So let's just reorient around honesty and truth and try to create a meaningful hierarchy of concern and threat. And the number one threat that we face is people becoming bad. That's the worst thing. You can't have a good country with bad people. And all of us have participated in that bad, including me.
And by the way,
we should say
that. The pre-1945 America, the It's a Wonderful Life America, which was made, obviously, I think right around that time frame, they all understood this. Those are all called out in that film.
Because they didn't have nuclear weapons, so they couldn't tell themselves they were God.
Everyone who watched it completely understood. Tucker, I could do this for several more hours. We'll have to do that at some point. But our time is unfortunately up. You'll be there Sunday.
Jack, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
We got to do this for Charlie.
Amen.
And that's really all it comes down to. And God bless Erica and the strength that she has.
She's an amazing person. And that's real.
I'm just so happy that she's.
Oh, yeah. And say prayers for her. I mean, there's the difficult, whatever, life is struggle, period.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you have my permission. Relational.